I've been pondering on it a lot, guys, like Max Holloway versus Conor McGregor, guys, and I really don't think Conor McGregor is going to win this fight. And this is before me doing my 100+ hours of footage, guys, and there's reasons I'm pointing to this. And I'm going to talk about it. A lot of the reasons actually come from like the psyche, guys. I'm telling you right now. I've been watching interviews, which I'm going to play this interview, and I'm also going to show you guys some post-fight interviews and show you some things Conor says, and I'm going to show you some sparring clips. I'm going to show you reasons of why I legitimately believe that this is too much of an uphill battle. Now, objectively, we already know, I feel like most of the people know that, like, Max should win. I'm putting that in quotation, or air quotations, because, but Kenny, there's been so much upsets, man. Fuck, you're right. No, you're actually right. But, guys, let's be real. Like, I know, I understand it, but, like, we got to be objective. I understand it, like, yeah, but Kenny, since I don't know. That's not how shit works, though. Like, I see your intent behind it. Like, I see why people bring it up. Like, there's upsets, but guys, not every fight's the same fight, and styles make fights. And it's deeper than just styles, guys. Activity, confidence, everything. There's multiple things that go into a fight that makes the fight. Now, first, we'll play this interview. I really don't want to spend too much time on this interview. I saw a clip off this interview, which actually prompted me to make this video. We're obviously going to find that clip somewhere in this video. But I actually haven't watched this interview at all, this full interview. So I'm going to actually watch this here. This is going to be some good content, guys. So let's get some popcorn a little bit, stretch, and like, let's get straight into Conor McGregor and why I really believe that after watching this, you're probably going to agree with me that I know upsets are possible, but he likely has nil chance. Let's start this video.
You've been at the top. You've made millions inside and out of the octagon. Why return? What is this that is pulling you back into the game? Because most people
I gotta go straight to the glaze. You know it's warranted, though.
will say, hey, yo, Conor, just relax. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, the thing is, my most relaxed state is in there. My most state of freedom.
That is true. Look at any Conor situation, bro, when he's not in the octagon, like, keeping his mind busy. We're seeing with Dustin right now, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be bad, man. You see, like, yo, we're seeing it. So we understand it. And I actually feel for fighters because I feel like they have a hard time finding themselves out of there. Conor has been getting in a lot of trouble when he's out of there, but I do feel like he's more, you could kind of see that Conor, since coming back, he's speaking English. Like he's speaking things that we can comprehend. Before he's like, I'm, you know? I'm glad that he's back and, like, looks like he's in better state.
Is making that walk. You know, I yearn for competition, and at the core of it, I do this for fun. This is fun to me, to get in, compete against another able body in a live event, you know, ignite the passion of the fans and the entire ecosystem around the fight game. I enjoy it. I get great pleasure out of it, and that's it. That's why I'm back. I'm back for the fun, for the thrill.
Now, you have been away from the octagon for 5 years.
This is big. This is big, and we're going to get to this a little bit later in the video. I'm going to show you guys why I'm talking about it, but this is big. 5 years out is huge.
What has been the most difficult part about training for this return? Has it been the physical or the mental?
You know, it's been a difficult few years with the injury recovery. I'm fully healed. It is a titanium rod down the knee into the ankle, and it's solid. I'm Terminator now. That is my mindset.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know there's a visual of the break.
Of course.
Me in the ring with the break. I wish for a visual now to correct that when I'm landing the shot. Yeah, I always say
That's something interesting, too. Like, I feel like coming from a break, like an injury that is resulting from, like, an Anderson Silva-esque thing, you're going to be, like, a little bit more wary when you absorb leg kicks and you take leg kicks and you give leg kicks. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I feel like he's going to be less confident throwing the leg kick. And some fighters might be like, I just got to throw it. You know, but you're gonna always have in the back of your head, I gotta throw it at this certain power. Because they're fighters, man. Like, they're so used to throwing something without worrying about something snapping or breaking, and now it's like a little wrinkle to the mental and the psyche that it's like crazy to feel. And someone like Max Holloway actually throws low kicks. Like, that's an underrated weapon of Max Holloway. He throws low kicks, guys, and people don't really realize that. I wonder how it's gonna feel because I remember Dustin Poirier before Conor broke his leg, he was landing low kicks on him. Like, he was landing, and Conor looked bad on that front leg, man. So the whole leg injury in general is such a big thing we can't overlook because it could take away some of Conor's weapons, which is a low kick that Conor does throw at times. And how can he absorb it? I don't know.
an injury is a process of, not just a process of recovery, it's a process of discovery. You uncover a lot about yourself. You uncover a lot about your frame, your body, your movements, your mechanics, what you must do to maintain. So in actuality, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, this allowed me to carry on with my career and you know, it will bring longevity to my career.
Yeah. You know what greatness feels like. And speaking of greatness, you know, guys like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, even LeBron James, they come to mind because even closing in at the age of 40, they still have shown dominance in their sport. But then that begs the question, why are they still playing? And are they sticking around too long? The hardest thing for greats to do is to walk away from it. Have you ever contemplated?
Wait, he's good at interviewing. This is kind of weird because, like, I don't. It's not normal to get good interviews.
With walking away and staying away from the game.
You
Good
know,
question.
I look at my rest period that I have had, whereas I look at other competitors in the space, including my opponent. I feel a lot more fresher than these opponents. I have had my time of rest. You know, I feel I am coming into my prime now. My prime is, I'm only entering my prime, and now and forever. So that is my mindset going in here.
Okay, let me just point at some delusions there. Like, this is what I hear from a lot of fighters. Yeah, I'm getting to that prime, man. And something Conor said, okay, keep in mind, Conor's a grown 37-year-old nigga, man. Let's be honest. Like, he's grown, bro. Like, he's out, bro. Ain't no prime. You know what your prime was when you're sleeping people in the first 14 seconds, going up in weight classes and smothering and destroying Eddie Alvarez. That was your prime. You're objectively faster. You're quicker. You're more reactive. You're a Mystic Mac kid. You're not him anymore. We saw in your last couple fights, you're not him, you know? And I want you guys to look at what he says here about his rest period.
Away and staying away from the game.
You know, I look at my rest period that I have had, whereas I look at other competitors in the space, including my opponent. I feel a lot more fresher than these opponents.
So let me point at some inconsistencies with what he just said. He says, me being away for a long time, I feel fresher. Let me bring you guys to a different video real quick. This is Conor McGregor after he lost to Dustin Poirier, okay? After he lost to Dustin Poirier, this is what he said on the mic.
Thoughts on how that fight transpired?
You know, it's hard to overcome inactivity over long periods of time, and that's just it wasn't, you know, the leg.
First thing he says, the first thing he says is like, yeah, you know, it's hard to overcome inactivity, man. I gotta be in the ring with these guys. Like, but it's kind of like a whole 360 from what we just watched, because what we just saw, he was kind of like, yeah, man, listen, I'm fresher than him because I haven't fought in a long time. But it's a 360, and it's one of those things you don't realize till I feel like you get in the octagon, you fight, and you're like, oh my God, I'm back in here. I just don't feel how I have to. You can look at it as two scopes. I'm fresher than these guys, or my inactivity is going to give me ring rust, and I'm going to come in and not perform to the best of my extent. That's what he said after the Dustin Poirier fight. Now, keep this in mind, guys. He fought a year before this fight against someone named Donald Cerrone. Before that, it was a 2-year layoff. After I think he lost to Khabib or whatever. So loses to Khabib, takes 2 years off, comes back, wins against Cerrone, comes back a whole year later. So that's a year in inactivity, then loses to Dustin the way he loses. Then he gets on the mic and says this.
You're in here. If you put in the time in here, you're gonna get cozy in here, and that's it. I have to dust it off and come back, and that's it.
You see exactly what I'm saying. Him right there was very different than him right here. But obviously, when you're going to the fight, you have to frame yourself in the mindset that, like, no, 5 years off is great. I've been chilling. I'm fresh. Max Holloway's been fighting way more than me and getting more ring time, but he's getting beaten up in these fights. He's not ready for this fight. He didn't take too much damage in his last fight. I know he got dominated, guys, but I don't think people realize, like, he didn't take too much of a beating. He just got outworked and out-grappled, you know? So, and before that, like, Max is keeping up with these Poiriers and destroying Gaethje. Like, I don't think Conor understands. Like I said, right now, I don't mind your mindset, dude. I don't mind you believing that you taking 5 years off is going to make you more fresher, but we've seen you in the Dustin Poirier fight show that after the certain years off you took before Dustin Poirier, which was 1 year, keep in mind, because the Donald Cerrone fight was a year before that, you know right when you got in the ring that I'm not the same person I once was. So that's something I'm looking at and I'm acknowledging, and I don't think he's realizing now. And once he realizes it, it's gonna be a bit too late because he's gonna realize it probably after he lost the fight.
I look at my rest period that I have had, whereas I look at other competitors in the space, including my opponent. I feel a lot more fresher than these opponents. I have had my time of rest. You know, I feel I am coming into my prime now. My prime is, I'm only entering my prime, and now and forever. So that is my mindset going in here.
You've had some brilliant highs, celebrated by many, had some very public lows, headlines that might even make you cringe a little bit, and even your fans. What have you learned through the lows about yourself?
You know, fame
That's a dangerous question. Someone might hit you in the face. Nah, that was it was an objective question.
has its pitfalls. You better move carefully in this world, for sure. Probably even more so now. I've taken a lot of lessons in my life. And, you know, it's just about self-discovery, studying yourself, learning triggers. You know, I find myself even now still in a fight with an old version of me or old ways that don't serve me and, you know, new ways and a new version of me, the new me. So I still find myself in this balance. Right now,
That's both as a fighter and a man.
as a fighter, and I'm more a man, more as a human. You know, I went through some treatment. I've done a lot of self-reflective work on myself,
Some therapy.
deep internal work, and it was outside of this bubble that we find ourselves in now when I return to the fight game. So on my, you know, immediate return to this game and in these cameras and even this now, I found myself reverting to an old version of me. And I had to kind of remind myself, I said, hold on. You know, I had to kind of just reflect again and say, you know, I'm different now. I'm a different person. I've put in work. It's easy to fall into old habits. You know,
That's so true.
You have to be careful. You have to
So true.
practice with people, places, things. You know, protect people, places, things. Don't find yourself in similar places that you would have been. So I'm still in that fight. And competition for me and activity and work helps that for sure. I still have work to do.
I actually really respect this answer for Conor. It's very matured. You could tell he's still like he's not like he's a magic wand was waved and oh yeah, I'm back to normal. Now I'm the most motivated Conor like I used to be. I'm not struggling. I'm glad he could acknowledge this. This is actually showing a lot of maturity from him that I feel like some people don't see a lot of.
I can appreciate you saying that. I mean, me as a man being fully transparent, and this is somewhat off script, but I'm keeping it real because so are you, and I'm thankful for that. You know, I try not to make the same mistakes I've made in the past. And the old you is always somewhere in there.
For sure.
And you think, like, I've gotten past this. I've been through therapy. I even celebrate months where I'm making great decisions, years where I'm making great decisions. But somewhere deep down inside, there's a lion inside. And it's either I have to learn how to suppress him and bring him out properly, or it's going to come out in places it shouldn't. And you feel like now you have learned to do that a little bit better.
You know, it's day by day work.
Amen.
Day after day, you got to put it in. The rent is due every day. They say you got to put the work in.
Yeah.
It's akin to what.
This is why is this a good interview? What the hell? They don't do this anymore. I didn't think they still do these.
Walking a tightrope.
Yeah.
You better learn how to balance. You better learn and practice your balance. Life is about balance. If you don't, you're one slight wobble from falling off entirely.
Yeah.
And it can be drastic. Even more so to a person who puts in work and makes inroads to becoming better and leaving a certain way behind. They're even more on the tightrope. The tightrope is even thinner for them.
Yeah. Of course.
Because if it goes, it's a heavier drop. So, you know, it's day by day you work. You keep good people around you.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it is. You keep good people around you and you make sure you have those conversations with the man
Maturity,
in the
man.
mirror. That's the main thing. And there ain't no lying to him. And the man above, for sure.
Of course. The man above and the man in the mirror. That's the last question I'll ask about this. For fans who say, you know, Conor doesn't love the game because of the mistakes he made. What do you say to those fans? Fans that love you more than any other fighter, any other athlete they have ever admired. What do you say to those fans about your appreciation, not just for the game, but also life itself?
You know, it's probably accurate at moments, for sure. You know, at 27 years of age, I had the game conquered. Two-weight world champion. I had the
He was
Floyd
27?
bout boxed off.
Yeah.
I was only 27 years of age. I had the game wrapped up in a blink. And what more was I to do? I got lost.
You lost yourself.
I got lost in it. And
And made some mistakes.
I made some mistakes off of that. And, you know, that's it. But you'll always come home. If you truly love something, you'll always come home. And that's
Amen.
what happens to me. There may be pockets where I would have disrespected and disgraced the position that God had put me in. And as you said, maybe some fans would see that. Hey, he didn't put in this, or maybe he showed no love for the game. It's probably accurate. It is accurate, in fact.
What? Conor is, hold on. I didn't know what to expect. Conor's very, like, humble in a way. Like, he's grounded. Conor's grounded. Conor's grounded, eh? Like, he's more grounded than I thought this interview would go. I literally saw the clip, guys, of him saying that, like, 5 years off was like, oh, he's going to come back fresher. And I was like, there's some hypocrisy there. So I kind of clicked on this, like, not really knowing what to expect. Conor is grounded, man. I like this from him.
But I for sure love this game. It's my every waking thought is the fight game. And look, I'm excited to come back and showcase it.
I can
showcase
tell.
my love for the game.
I can tell. Let's talk about this fight. You beat Max when you guys were younger. What do you respect about this version of who he is?
Max is a durable fighter with great skill. Not on my level, however. I am a level above. In fact, multiple levels above.
How so?
Skill-wise, mental-wise, physical-wise. We're at 170 pounds. There's a few facets into this. Max has been a busy body in the game. In fact, he's the most time spent inside the octagon, 8.5 hours, which is a staggering amount of time. For me, I kind of look at that saying, it means you can't finish people, you know, so... However, he's never fought at 170 pounds. This is a 170-pound bout.
And you believe that you're levels above him, but what's something that you're watching out for? What is one of Max's strengths?
You know, if you're asking me what I have above him, speed, power, IQ, fitness, health, freshness.
Conor,
Fitness, I don't know about that.
that's damn near
Eagerness.
everything.
You know, Max didn't lay a glove on me the last fight. I also tore my ACL. I tore it actually in the fight against this guy I'm
remember
going to
that.
fight.
Yeah, I remember
tore it
that.
midway through the second round. I had to improvise my approach.
Conor's getting serious because he took the hat off. Like, I was like, he looks a little bit more like, what happened? I was like, oh shit, the hat came off. Scruffy ass hair, gang. When did he take it off?
Didn't lay a IQ, fitness, health, freshness.
Conor, that's damn near
Eagerness.
everything.
You know, Max didn't lay a glove on me the last fight. I also tore my ACL. I tore it actually in the fight against this guy I'm
remember
going to
that.
fight.
It was on the ground.
I tore it midway through the second round. I had to improvise my approach and adapt and overcome, and that I did.
But
Did not
Max
lay
is a
glove.
different fighter now.
Is he? Is he really? I don't really see it. I don't.
Oh, no. See, he had me this whole interview. He's had me in the whole interview when he was talking about self-reflection. Now we're talking about the fight, and I'm starting to say he's a bit delusional, eh? Because he's looking at the ring time of Max and like saying he can't finish people, which objectively is not a horrible take to say for Max Holloway. He does have a lot of fights that go the distance, but that also is something that's going to be an advantage to him because he's used to being in the ring for a long period of time, whereas Conor's not used to leaving a second round or third round often, or getting into a third round often, because he kind of blows his load out. Shout out Nate Diaz, or shout out anyone else who's took him to the distance and started to see him wilt. And Max has good volume, and he said he had better fitness than Max as well. He's saying a lot of things that he does better than Max that I don't really necessarily agree with. Well, hold on, I almost forgot. He just said that he thinks he's the same fighter. I don't understand that, guys. Like, Max is nowhere near the same as he was when he was 21 years old, man. Like, he's been spending much time. Not only has he aged since then, he's had so many fights against high-level competition since then. He's leveled up. 21-year-old Max is not the same. And if Conor genuinely believes that, may God have mercy on his soul, I can't lie.
See vast improvements. In fact, the improvements he made was after the fight he had with me, where he adopted some of my moves. But then what did he do? We went on to win the world title. So I sunned Max when I fought him last, and I plan on doing the same again in more devastating fashion.
It kind of reminds me of when Conor beat Dustin and was like saying similar things to him. Like, the hillbilly hasn't changed much, brother. The hillbilly changed. It's gonna be bad, man. Listen, I just feel like he can't be doing this where like he beats someone 20 years ago and says, yeah, well, they're the same fighter. Gang, they're not, bruh. And if he genuinely, like, if that's his way of like getting prepared for the fight, like, I beat him before, I'm gonna beat him again, he's the same guy. I think that's bad mentality. I think a better mentality, a better approach would be like, he's gonna be 20 times a fighter since last time I fought him, and I'm gonna be 20 times a fighter, and I'm still going to beat him. That's a better mindset in my opinion, but not everyone thinks the same, of course. But I don't think you should be going in thinking it's gonna be the same Max, because it's not going to be the same Max, and you're not going to be even the same. I think you're going to be a worse version of yourself. I think your 23-year-old version of yourself is probably better than this version. So it's tough, man.
You know, we don't often get to rewrite chapters in our life. This could be a chapter that Max is going to rewrite. How many times do you lose to someone and then you have an opportunity to correct that?
Yeah.
That could be his motivation.
For sure it is.
For him to knock you out.
For sure it is. And it's great excitement, and it takes great courage for a man to rematch a man, and that's why I always have the height of respect for athletes who rematch fighters. If there is a rivalry, if there is both stars in the game, if there is meaning behind it, rematches should take place. Usually, one man won't. And that is a sign of a lack of courage in my eyes.
True,
And
honestly,
I
true.
do not have that. I have great courage. And I'm excited for the bout. I'm sure Max is motivated to correct that. What does that do for me? That in turn motivates me. It's why we have a cracker of a bout here ahead of us.
So you believe you're going to beat Max? Is Justin in your path on this return?
You know, I had
Are
already...
you going to make a run at a title? Do you still have it in you to make a run at a title?
For sure. You know, I'm a 170-pound fighter now.
Brother, don't even look at Islam. Islam will take the fight, you know, but be careful, you know. You better go back down to 155, brother. We're strong, handsome over here.
Already held the 155-pound unified UFC world title. I'm open for business. I wish for activity. You know, I've got a great fight in front of me. Max has flatlined Justin. He knocked him out, face down, out cold. Justin's okay. When he's on, Justin's okay. When he's bad, he's atrocious. He's woeful. He slaps his punches a lot. But he's very, very durable, and he's unorthodox in his style.
Do you have a hit list?
Ooh.
There's a few names for sure. I have just more so activity. I wish to just compete. You know what I mean? I used to
You
get
want
this
the
in.
smoke.
I want the smoke. I want all the smoke, for sure. There you go. Bring it all on. I don't rate them. To tell you the truth, I don't rate them.
Yeah.
I don't rate them. Not on my level. And rather than saying it and getting into more detail on it, I would rather just show it. And
Yeah.
that I will do.
All right, lastly. So this is the notorious one versus the blessed one, which is fitting yet ironic because Max has given us one of the most notorious knockouts in UFC history, and you have blessed us with so many moments. So the question that I have for
These guys good,
Mystic
eh?
Mac,
Yeah.
as you like to call
Yeah,
yourself, how does this one end?
It's going to be a demolition. It's going to be an absolute demolition.
Wow.
I know the damage he's taken. I know I will just have to touch him. And after that, it will be clinical. So to win alone is not just enough. It must be spectacular, and that it will be.
Okay, Conor. Okay, Conor. I'll give Conor credit, you know. I'll give Conor credit, you know. Guys, Conor can talk, Can he walk the walk? It's a matter of watching. He actually ended that interview off pretty well, in my opinion. I'm actually not done, though. Like, I know I zoomed in. We're going to recap it a bit, guys, but I actually want to talk about confidence and how does that look for Conor, because I've noticed something about Conor recently. Let me just shorten my camera. I'm going to show you guys his sparring clips that have been leading up to this fight so you guys can see something real quick. So I've noticed this. I don't know how much other people have noticed this, but I know I have. Conor McGregor, leading up to this bout, has been sparring NPCs. Like, literally people who look like it's their first day sparring. Like, his time off. Listen, I understood what he said about time off and I was going to be more healthy. I think this all benefits you if you're, like, training with, like, world-class people. Like, the best of the best who are going to get you better. I have a theory that the time off it was to build his ego back up. I believe the time off, he was doing things where it made him feel as if he's still the same old vintage Conor. And you're going to see what I mean when I click play on this video. He looks great, right? And he's swinging, guys. Don't get me wrong. He's swinging. Like, he's trying to hurt this guy.
1 minute gone.
Actually, nah. He pulled that. He pulled that punch. I'll give him credit. He's not trying to hurt them. He pulled that punch. It looked like apologetic. Oh, great head kick. But the point still stands. Like, in this clip, these guys look like they've been training for, like... This guy probably been training for about 5 months. This dude in front of him. This next guy probably been training for about a year. Who knows? Either way, this is my assumption as someone who's been in, like, gyms and seen, like, the kind of longevity it has with people who have been training. They don't look that great. And Conor's just kind of punch bag maxing against them. And this is what I feel like Conor's been doing. I feel like he's been trying to go hard in sparring. Not hard, but he's been trying to build his confidence up by sparring with people who aren't his level. You know, typically when you're in a gym, the best people are going to go with the best people. I don't think that's the case in this gym. There's a lot of people in this gym. I'm sure Conor can find someone a little bit more level around his skill. And Conor actually looks bigger than these guys as well, like size-wise. You know, so I feel like Conor's doing stuff like this to build his confidence. This is not the only example of this, guys. There's also this example. just putting it on him, eh? Look at that. Ben Davis said, "Hey man, this is my first guys. I'm so excited. That's great, man. You're going against Conor McGregor. Like, come on, gang." Oh. And like I said, things like this is to build the confidence to me. I feel like these are to build the confidence of a fighter. And I'll be real, bro, sometimes when you're in a gym, guys, and you're sparring against someone who like isn't as good as you, you feel good. Like, you feel great. You're like, damn, I'm pretty damn good. I'm pretty fucking good. I can fucking beat him out. I'm not. Like, it's good, you know. Like, I just feel like it's a bad way to approach a fight with a world-class athlete like Max, bro. Dude, if I'm booked to fight someone, I'm finding that I'm going to the toughest guy in my gym and I'm sparring them and I'm getting hard rounds with them to prep myself accordingly. Even if the toughest guy at the gym is like not as good as like maybe an opponent I was going to be booked to fight, I'm going to just challenge myself, Conor McGregor beating up people who are just seemingly not that impressive, but I don't think that's going to do much for him. It might do something good for his ego and his confidence, which I think is a good thing. Fighters need to feel like they're the best in the world. So sometimes it makes it look like, okay, I just got to go in there and beat up someone who's not as good as me. But in hindsight, it's really not going to do much things beneficial for him. And I think he's going to realize that when he's actually in there with Max Holloway. So you can build up your ego all you want, bro, but like this is the 5 years off that's making you feel fresh and making you feel confident in your ability, and you're saying Max is not that good. You don't really rate these guys. You're going to sleep him in clinical fashion. But you're saying this because the way your ego was built up through is you beating up people like this on your time off, while Max is still in the cage fighting against the best in the world like Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira, Ilia Topuria. His last couple of fights have been elite fighters. Like, all of them are elite fighters. Gaethje, Ilia, and Charles are literally the best 3 last fighters you could fight before Conor McGregor. Like, if you told me to get someone prepped for a prime Conor, this is not even prime Conor, but if you told me to get someone prepped for Conor the best way possible, I'll say, all right, just get in there with Justin Gaethje, Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira. Just get in there with pure killers, with multiple styles. Like Gaethje's a brawler. He makes shit ugly, but Max just cleaned him up there. This clinical fight. Ilia Topuria, he was taking rounds off him before he got caught, but I also think Ilia Topuria has better endurance than Conor. Conor could probably go for 2 rounds hard, max. Depending on what style he comes out with. If he comes out with a karate stance, I think he has about a round in him of good slip straights that he usually does, slip straight into an uppercut. But once Conor gets a lot more flatter, I've noticed he looks a lot worse, specifically in the Dustin fights, guys. Like, I'm going to watch that footage a lot when I'm doing my 100+ hours of footage. I'm probably going to watch that fight back a couple times and like just find habits of Conor, because I just remember him like starting to wilt to low kicks and then he started to look very flat. So yeah, it's one of those things, guys, where like Conor, the things he's doing, I don't necessarily think it's the smartest thing. I'll be real. I don't think he's doing the smartest things. I feel like he might think that this time off is beneficial. He might think that beating up guys who aren't as experienced as him and not as great as him is great to build his ego, which it actually might be. But I do feel like when he gets in there with Max and he realizes, holy shit, the ring rust is crazy. I've never been out for this amount of time. I got brought back against a top level competition. It's one thing to come back after 2 years against Donald Cerrone and win off of shoulder strikes. Donald Cerrone after 2 years, Conor looked decent in that fight, but this is not Donald Cerrone. This is not after 2 years. This is more than double 2 years, and then after fighting Dustin Poirier a year and like 2 months after fighting Donald Cerrone, you said the year and 2 months was too much. You need to stay more active, and you just weren't ready for a Dustin Poirier. I have some news to you. Max Holloway, this version of Max Holloway could arguably be better than that version of Dustin Poirier. Let's be honest. We could be objective. We could have those arguments, but not going to change the fact that this is your longest layoff and you're coming back against someone who's a killer in the striking realm, So it's a tough ask for Conor. This is why I feel like Conor's just not going to win without doing much footage. And then if I do footage on top of this, it might be a surefire pick. Like, listen, I understand, guys. I understand why everyone thinks Conor has a chance because we're seeing other upsets, but you guys got to realize those upsets didn't come from Justin Gaethje taking 5 years off and building his ego through sparring people who are on his level. Strickland has been I don't even want to say active, but Strickland has shared the training room with Khamzat. Strickland has this weird confidence about him, and he's actually fights, and doesn't take 5 years between fights. So I do think those upsets are more warranted than Conor McGregor going out there and upsetting them. And honestly, what I noticed from these specific upsets is that like there's a factor that we haven't considered in those fights. Like, Ilia hasn't been in a dog fight, and Khamzat really hasn't went against someone who could like stuff his takedowns, keep him standing in a 5-round setting. And that's the first time it happened, and we saw what happened. I do think if Usman fought Khamzat in 5 rounds, the first fight he would have won. But neither here or there. Tough ass for Conor McGregor, guys. I really don't believe he wins, and I'm sure that after you guys watch this, you agree. Let me know your thoughts down below. That's it for me, and God bless. Two.